somebody mentioned the different times we live in, and we do live in different times, but I'd like to tell you now about a friend of mine called Steve that grew up with what some people would have called a disability, some people would have called an affliction, but Steve never saw it that way, and he went on to become what a lot of people in Wales consider Wales' first superhero. And by the way, I put it to the music of Barry Manilow. As you can tell, I'm a big fan of Barry Manilow. What the fuck he thinks of me, I don't know. This is dedicated to Steve. In a pretty Welsh village lived a little boy called Steve. Steve had a massive ball sack, and it came down to his knees. And if ever you saw them, you'd always remember his name. They would have an effect on you, you'd never be the same again. 'Cause he was a miracle, with his big blue testicles, a miracle come true. And if you need a miracle, Steve would do one just for you. Steve's dad was a farmer, and the ewes rejected the lambs. And he didn't know what to do, but he knew he was in a jam. So he woke up his son to see if he could help him with his plight. And the lambs cuddled up to Steve's plums, and they made it through the night. 'Cause he was a miracle, with his big blue testicles, a miracle come true. And if you need a miracle, Steve would be there just for you. As Steve grew older, he went to the swimming pool. But the kids couldn't swim there 'cause the water was just too cool. In a moment of kindness, Steve dropped to his knees, and he plopped in his gonad. Soon the water was 30 degrees, 'cause he was a miracle, with his big blue testicles, a miracle come true. And if you need a miracle, Steve would be there just for you. But his balls kept growing, till they were down upon his feet. And he didn't stop there soon, he was dragging them down the street. But the ladies loved him, 'cause they knew they would get a treat. He always left them satisfied, 'cause one was salty, one was sweet. 'Cause he was a miracle, with his big blue testicles, a miracle come true. And when you need a miracle, Steve was there for me and you. Welsh rugby came calling when the team had a dicky tum. They were playing England, and they couldn't form a decent scrum. Steve won the game that day, when Wales were feeling low. With a bollock underneath each arm, he formed the whole front row. 'Cause he was a miracle, with his big blue testicles, a miracle come true. And when you need a miracle, Steve would do one just for you. Steve's finest moment was when he foiled a terror attack, and he muffled the explosion with his huge ball sack. But Steve didn't make it, and Wales just couldn't believe they had lost their hero, known as Big Ball Steve. 'Cause he was a miracle, with his big blue testicles, a miracle come true. And when you need a miracle, Steve was there for me and you. His balls were given to science, where people flocked to see him, where they stood pride of place in the middle of Cardiff Museum. And they put up a statue outside the Old Arms Park. They looked magnificent when they were lit up in the dark. 'Cause he was a miracle, with his big blue testicles, a miracle come true. And when you need a miracle, Steve would do one just for you. Now he's up in heaven, with Buddha and Allah and God. Covers everybody. And they've sacked St. Peter. St. David got him the job. And he stands there proudly, guarding those gates of pearl. He was a real Welsh hero. He had the biggest balls in the world, 'cause he was a miracle, with his big blue testicles, a miracle come true. He was a miracle, a miracle, a miracle called Steve. Thank you so much.